we got a baseball doesn't exist video. The rarest play in baseball history. By the way, I saw something interesting recently. I was on Reddit and I checked out the popular post, and I saw recently that baseball doesn't exist is getting sued for like one of his baseball video. I don't really know the context, but I saw that. So rarest play in baseball history.
Have you ever seen someone hit a home run without holding a bat? Well, it's happened in MLB multiple times. It's possible to hit a 3-run home run on a strikeout. You can win a game as a pitcher without throwing a single pitch, strike out 5 batters in 1 inning, and play for 2 different teams in the same game. All of these things have happened in baseball before. With strange, rare events seem to be going on all the time. This guy caught a ball without looking. This guy caught a ball without a glove on accident. This guy's helmet made fire, and this guy made his bat defy gravity. These things will probably never happen in MLB again, but none of them are the rarest play in history. That happened in 1999. It wasn't even an actual play, and somehow made this random lady rich. In fact, the rarest events in baseball often don't even happen on the field. They happen in the stands, where the odds of catching a ball at an MLB game is 1 in 1,200. If you go to 1,200 MLB games, you can expect to catch 1 foul ball. So when this guy got one, he was ecstatic and immediately started texting his friend. But before he could even send the text, the very next pitch was fouled off directly to him. The odds of catching 2 balls in a game is 1 in 1,440,000. But the odds of catching 2 on back-to-back pitches, according to MLB, is 1 in 10 million. Thinking this would probably never happen again, the Mariners invited him on the field, got the ball signed by the player who hit them, and let him throw out the first pitch. Then, 3 months later, something even rarer happened.
He got it again.
This fan caught a foul ball in the first inning. Just 4 batters later, he'll foul it back.
Okay.
It's the same dude. Then, just a few minutes after that,
it's amazing when you look at it.
I'm guessing like obviously I know like people make a lot of money off balls, right? So some people probably go to the game wanting to catch balls. So there must be like some placement. I don't know if you have to buy a ticket or you can sit where you want, but like there must be some placement where you're more likely to see a ball coming. Like I'm sure there's something where you can calculate that.
Supposedly, the odds of catching 3 foul balls in 1 game is 1 in 185 million.
Go play the lottery after that.
In 1 inning. The odds of catching a foul ball is low. The odds that you hit a foul ball into the stands and it hits a fan is even lower. But the odds that you hit a foul ball into the stands and it hits a fan who just so happens to be your own mother is thankfully even lower. But it did happen to Denard Span in 2010. Yes, in 2010, he treated his mom to free tickets to a spring training game. He got her the best seats possible, right next to the Twins dugout in the first row.
You can't tell me it's not that inning,
he hit a screaming line drive directly at her. This was extremely serious and scary. As she was getting medical attention, Span tried to stay in the game. He struck out on the next hit, got out his next at bat, and decided he couldn't focus and took himself out of the game. Meanwhile, his mother took it like a champ. She refused to go to the hospital, stayed the entire game, and after the game said she was feeling amazing. She's likely tougher than most MLB players, but maybe not as tough as Hunter Pence, who fouled a pitch directly off his face, somehow developed a black eye in less than a minute, stayed in the game, and somehow got a hit and a walk with a black eye. Pence is known for doing unorthodox things like this, and the best example is when he became probably the first player ever to hit 1 pitch 3 times in 1 swing. This never happens because usually when other players do it, it's illegal. According to MLB rules, you cannot hit a fair ball twice. However, they put in a stipulation. If a broken bat hits a ball for a second time, that is fine. But the odds of this actually happening are slim to none. But with the bases loaded in Game 7 of the NLCS, Giants needed Hunter Pence to get a hit. He got jammed, broke his bat. His broken bat then hit the ball again. Then somehow, for a third time, creating
that's what
a weird
demands,
spin
okay.
and direction that threw off the fielder, turning what would have been a probable out or maybe double play into
That's nice.
a 3 RBI
That's some luck.
double. Broken equipment can cause problems in MLB. They've helped teams lose, cost teams their season. They've been used as weapons and often totally confuse everyone with strange rule stipulations. Earlier this year, in a 1 in 1 billion scenario, Justin Turner's helmet saved him from being tagged, and nobody could figure out if he should be safe or out. After this ball in the dirt, Turner broke for second.
Because the guy
and was
didn't
nailed
touch
by a
him, but the
perfect
helmet.
throw. Turner was called out. However, technically, he was never tagged. His helmet was tagged. 99.9% of the time, if you get tagged in the helmet, you're obviously out. But Turner's helmet came off. Players' helmets come off running all the
Interesting.
time. If you tagged a player's helmet that they were no longer wearing, they'd obviously be safe. But Turner's helmet was simultaneously off his head.
This is why he planned
and
that, so
touching
it's
his
obviously a
body
freak
at the
accident.
moment it was tagged. This mind everybody. But the Blue Jays decided to challenge, and according to the rule, your equipment is part of your body. If you get tagged on your equipment, you are out. But equipment is only considered worn if it's in contact with its intended part. So even though Turner's helmet was touching him, because it wasn't touching his head, it legally was able to act as a shield and somehow, against all odds,
That's
actually
crazy.
block this tag perfectly, allowing him to be safe. Proving
Man, I said before, but I really need to watch an actual baseball event once at this point. I mean, I said this for, so many sports that we check out in videos, right? Like racing too. I still haven't actually watched any race, you know what I mean? Like the only sport I still watch is sumo and UFC, MMA. But I really, from all the videos you guys show me, like, cricket, baseball, rally racing, Formula One, like this kind of stuff, even if I don't know if I would get really deep into them, I really feel like I need to watch like an actual game at this point. Yeah. At one point I had the idea of doing a channel, like a channel for that, where like it was about me getting deeper into like like different sports, right? Like getting to know them more with a dedicated channel. But maybe I would do something like this on this channel, just like be like a new type of stream or something where like I do watch along to some full match or race or event or whatever. It's an idea I had, yeah. I don't know if people are that interested, but it could be interesting. I have never seen a baseball field in France, to be honest. I'm sure there must be some people playing, but I've only seen like tennis, basketball, and soccer field. I've never seen a baseball field, so I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah.
How important good equipment
idea.
is. A good helmet will save you. A bad glove will screw you over. A broken ball can ruin everything. And a good bat is crucial. Unless you're Michael Morse, who literally hit a grand slam without a bat. In 2012, he hit a ball off a wall. He tried to go to second base, but for some reason, the runners on second and third didn't move. He ended up going back to first, making this a 375-foot single. Except the ball clearly went over the fence. The umpires reviewed it, called it a grand slam. But since the runners never ran, the umpires got confused on which bases the runners had already touched, and then just made them all go back to their original base and reenact the home run, making Michael Morse hit a home run without a bat, which is almost as rare as hitting a home run with a bat that you're not even holding. Plenty of players have thrown their bats at balls in the dirt, got extremely lucky, and got hits on pitches they had no business.
I forget in which anime I've seen this, but it seems to be a strategy, yeah. The throwing bat.
At in the first place, but Todd Frazier did something crazier. While facing the slowest pitcher in the league, Jamie Moyer, he saw a 72-mile-per-hour changeup, was way out in front, was so off balance, he literally threw his bat at it and ended up hitting a home run. But if hitting a homer without a bat is possible, is anything in baseball actually impossible? For example, there's only 3 outs in an inning in baseball, so you'd think the most strikeouts you can get in an inning is 3. Actually, no, because this guy somehow struck out 5 batters in 1 inning, made possible by this weird rule. If a batter swings and misses at strike 3, but the ball touches the ground, they can run to first. If they get there before the catcher can pick up the ball and throw it to first, they get to stay at first even though they struck out. It is extremely rare, unless you're this guy. He came into a game, struck out the first batter, then struck out another, but the ball got away and he was safe at first. He then struck out the next batter, faced another guy, and struck out his 4th batter. It should have been the 3rd out, but this ball also got away and the runner was safe again. He then immediately struck out another batter. He ended up giving up a run and lost his team the lead while also having arguably the most dominant inning of all time, tying the record with 5 strikeouts in 1 inning. It's only happened 4 times in minor league baseball history, but never once in MLB, making it one of the rarest events in baseball. According to Jay Kuda, it's more rare than a player hitting 2 grand slams in 1 inning. That's happened once. Rarer than striking out 20 batters in a game. That's happened 5 times. And even more rare than an immaculate inning. That's when a pitcher strikes out.
What is a grand slam again? Is it home run with all the base loaded? Is that what it is? Grand slam?
All 3 batters in 9 pitches, striking out each batter with only 3 pitches. It's the most dominant inning possible and is 4 times more rare than a perfect game. And the Astros somehow did it twice in 1 game. First, Luis Garcia did it in the 2nd inning, striking out 3 batters in 9 pitches. The odds of doing this once is 1 in 40,000. The odds of doing it twice in 1 game is 1 in 1.6 billion. And Phil Maton not only came into the game in the 7th and got another immaculate inning, he did it against the exact same 3 batters that Garcia did it against just 5 innings later. The odds of this happening are astronomical, higher than 1 in 1.6
I'm actually surprised this happened only once, that someone did it twice in a game.
But it's not the rarest play in baseball, because even though an immaculate inning is rarer than a perfect game, it's not as rare as blowing a perfect game when you only need 1 more out to get it. This is one of the rarest and saddest things that happens in the sport. There's only been 24 perfect games in history. It's the pinnacle of achievement for a pitcher. Getting one puts you in the history books forever. But there's been 14 times a pitcher needed just 1 more out to get one, then blew it on the very last batter. This guy did something even more heartbreaking. In 1989, Dave Stieb was dominating. He struck out 11 batters and was 1 out away from throwing the 14th perfect game in history. Then, on a 2-0 count, Roberto Kelly lined a double to ruin the perfect game. And it gets way worse, because just a year prior, Stieb was going for his first ever no-hitter. He only needed 3 more outs, retired the first 2 batters, then got 2 strikes on Julio Franco, who hit a routine ground ball to second base. And it randomly took the worst hop you will ever see on a baseball field. If this ball doesn't take the worst time bad hop in history, Stieb would have a no-hitter. Instead, he got nothing. But Stieb couldn't be deterred, because in his very next start, he did something even crazier. He once again took a no-hitter into the 9th inning, and for the 2nd time in the same week, he was 1 out away. He had 2 strikes on Jim Tabor, meaning for the 2nd time in the same week, he was 1.
Like, this seems more like something that I would expect to not happen so much, but from what he's saying, it's happening a lot. Like, a pitcher not getting hit for 9 innings is kind of insane. And yet it seems like it's much more common than a grand slam, or 2 grand slam in a game, yeah. It's kind of insane.
Strike away. Traber then hit a weak bloop single just over the first baseman's head. Stieb lost 2 no-hitters in back-to-back starts, lost them both with 2 strikes on terrible hits, in total losing 3 no-hitters on the very last out in 1 year. This is statistically unheard of, but thankfully in 1990, Stieb finally threw the first Blue Jays no-hitter, breaking the curse forever. Losing a perfect game is bad, but losing a game because of a 3-run home run on a strikeout is even worse. And yes, hitting a 3-run home run on a strikeout is possible. It's never happened in MLB.
How does that work?
But it did happen to this Japanese high school team and ruined their season. But before we get to that insanely depressing and unlikely story, a quick word from
work?
today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by PrizePicks, the most
Gambling.
fun and exciting way to get in
Of
on
course.
the action in sports. We're entering the most exciting part of the MLB season. Football is starting, basketball is around the corner, and you can win in all of them. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win 100 times your cash. If you think a player is going to have a big game, you can go higher on their hits. If you think they're going to get shut down by the defense, you could go lower on their touchdowns. And if you're right, cha-ching, baby, you win. Sign up right now and you get $50 instantly if you play $5. You don't even have to win. You receive $50. And with football starting, it is the perfect time to try it because PrizePicks is basically giving you 1 free win every single week in September. All September, if you pick higher on Caleb Williams' passing yards and he gets just 1 passing yard, you win. Essentially, an automatic win every week all September, but don't miss out because the deal is gone when September ends. I'll be adding that to my regular baseball picks, which is usually Shohei to get higher than 1 homer or higher than 1 steal, and so far it's been a pretty great strategy. And even if I lose, it makes watching the game just that much more entertaining. Download the app today and use code BDE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.
I gambled
Just
already.
use code BDE, play one $5 lineup, and PrizePicks will send you $50 to get in on any action you want. Do it right now. The Koshin is one of the biggest sporting events in Japan. It is a
Koshin.
single elimination high school baseball tournament with thousands of teams. If you lose 1 game, you're eliminated. The games at the Koshin are played in sold-out stadiums, are nationally televised, and making it there is one of the biggest honors in Japanese sports. This team was 2 wins away from making it to the Koshin. They were shutting their opponents out through 4 innings. Up 3-0 facing the opponent's ace with runners on the corners, they struck him out on a nasty curveball. The defense ran off the field thinking the inning was over. Even the batter thought he was out, but his coach told him to
Oh, did they
start
break a
running,
rule?
so he and his 2 teammates ran all the way around the bases and all scored, while the other team was in their dugout. This caused confusion, but the replay is clear. Since this strike 3 landed in the dirt, the drop third strike rule allows the batter to try to run to first before the catcher can tag him. Since the catcher was in the dugout, there was no one stopping him to go all the way around the bases. This tie
So it's the kind of thing where like it's a very obscure rules, right? So it's like it's the kind of thing that if everybody in the team hasn't read and memorized every single rule, I guess you wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, like most of them probably didn't realize that you could do that if the ball hits the ground. That's so sneaky, yeah.
tied the game, and the team who gave up the homer ended up losing 6-4, getting eliminated and ending their Koshin dreams, all because this guy hit a home run without hitting the ball. Nobody in MLB
Damn.
has ever hit a home run without hitting, but this guy once became a winning pitcher without even pitching. According to the rules, in order to be deemed a winning pitcher, your team has to win. You have to pitch at least 5 innings, and you have to leave the game with a lead. But there's exceptions. If a starter doesn't meet this criteria, a reliever can become a winning pitcher if they enter a game tied or behind, then leave the game winning. Alan Embry once came into a tie game, was about to throw a pitch when the runner stole second. He picked them off, the runner fell on his face, and eventually got out. Embry then left the game throwing 0 pitches, but
see.
got an out, so it's still technically counted as an
I see.
appearance. And when his team scored the next inning and won, he became the winning pitcher in a game he didn't even pitch in, proving you don't have to play
It's
to
free
win a
real estate.
game. But if you do play, there's a chance you can
Smarter than China,
simultaneously
why?
win a game and
Why'd you
lose
say
a
that?
game in the same game. And as impossible as that sounds, this guy did it. On June 26th, Danny Jansen won and lost because he came to the plate against the Red Sox, but it started pouring. Before he could finish the at-bat, the game was called due to rain. The makeup game then got rescheduled for August, where Jansen would take the rest of his at-bat. But before the game resumed, Jansen was traded from the Blue Jays
to
Oh.
the Red Sox. This
Oh.
made everything extremely confusing. Jansen was supposed to start the game at the plate for the Blue Jays, a team he wasn't even on anymore. Instead, he started it behind the plate for the Red Sox. So not only did
That's
he
funny.
technically play for both teams in one game, he technically was the hitter and catcher in the same plate appearance. The Red Sox lost, but the official box score shows that Jansen played on both teams. So at the end of the game, he became the only player ever to play for two teams and win and lose in a game and
I love this
catch
kind of
and hit
weird
in the same
little
at-bat. And that will never
happenings.
happen again. And neither will this, because this is the rarest event in baseball history. In 1999, this play made this random lady rich. She was living paycheck to paycheck with her husband and kids. They only had one car. She didn't know anything about baseball and said she had never been to a game because the family couldn't afford it. But she heard about a radio contest that allowed a lucky fan to win 4 free tickets to a Diamondbacks game. She called, got selected, and won the tickets. Based on the listenership, the odds of winning this contest alone was 1 in 300,000.
Crazy.
But they also offered her a chance to play a game. She had to predict one player to hit a grand slam, then guess what inning they would hit that grand slam in. And if that player
Okay,
hit a grand
no
slam
way.
in that
No
inning,
way.
she would win $1 million. Now,
I mean, even if you're an expert in baseball, there's no way you're predicting that. I guess you still have better chance because you would know which player is good enough that they might hit home run, right? But predicting what inning and stuff like that, like, come on. Yeah, come on. That's kind of crazy. So, like, with no knowledge, she managed to predict the right guy. That's crazy. Japan made a lot of cool video games and translated their masterpiece into English, but China gave us the COVID. I mean, come on, dude. China gave us a lot more of that. A lot more than that. I mean, I don't really know what to say to that. You know. I don't know what to say to
not
that.
knowing any of the players, she and her husband randomly guessed Jay Bell to hit a home run in the
Jay
6th
Bell.
inning. The odds Jay Bell would hit a homer were low. The odds Jay Bell would even bat in the 6th inning were also low. The odds the bases would just so happen to be loaded when he batted in the 6th
Okay.
inning were even lower. The odds any player would hit a grand slam were extremely low, but the odds that Jay Bell would come up to the plate in the 6th where the bases just so happened to be loaded and then hit a grand slam were next to none. Compounded with the 300 to 1 odds she had to even get picked in the first place, this is an impossible scenario. But when Jay Bell's spot came up in the order,
Joking.
it just so happened to come up
I hope.
in the 6th inning. And against all odds, the bases were loaded. The promotion was announced in the stadium, and everybody, including Jay Bell, knew if he hit a homer, this lady would win $1 million.
It feels
Bell
scripted.
says he was so nervous, his legs were shaking, but on a 3-2 count, he hit a grand slam. The stadium went insane, but not for the
Insane.
grand slam. For this lady who just won $1 million, which the dairy company Shamrock Farms was required to pay her. They were probably the only ones in the
That
world
makes
not
zero sense.
excited about this home run. And based on this, it's
Zero
safe to say
sense.
that no company will ever offer this deal again, making this the rarest play of all time.
It makes zero sense. Like, the odds of all of this ever happening, from like winning the ticket in the radio contest to this, it makes zero sense. Yeah. Karate is Japanese, actually. Kung Fu is Chinese, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see, you know, on an international level, like, some people might look at it like that. You know, Japan is known for being very advanced in terms of technology, but, you know, China is also like catching up a lot, I feel like. So I don't know. It's a massive country. I mean, China is like one of the top 3 most massive country in the world. So it's a lot of people, it's a lot of stuff being produced. I mean, I guess, you know, outside of like goods that we buy on Amazon or something, most of us aren't really exposed to too much Chinese culture and stuff, you know, but I mean, it's a country that has been rising like crazy over like the last 50 years, right? I mean, maybe a bit more than that. Just massive speed of rising up, you know? It's kind of crazy. So yeah, good video. I mean, good video. Japanese is stupid. I'm an example. Are you stupid? Why is that? I didn't get that impression. Aren't you a mystery expert? Here's the link. Here's the link. Great video. Super interesting. Reminds me of like the thing with the contest there. Reminds me of another video I saw once about like the NBA. They had some context where they would get fan to, like they had a challenge to win $1 million or something. One of them was like you have to throw like different type of throw, right? Like one of them where you jump and put it in, one of them where you shoot from far away. And if you manage to do everything, you win $1 million. And some guy won, but the company that made the contest, basically they do it because they think no one can do it. And so they never plan to really pay. So when he won, basically they didn't want to pay. And they were trying to find like little rules in the contract of why they shouldn't have to pay or something. It reminds me of that.